All right, so this is your Bitcoin and crypto news for 3/20/2018. Not a whole lot overnight. We talked about it yesterday. This is what everybody individually has to decide. Okay, you have to decide as a trader. Number one, are you a hodler? So number one, are you a hodler? Or number two, are you trader? Okay. I cannot tell you individually what you are. You have to decide on your own. So are you a trader or are you a hodler? Okay. If you are a hodler, I think this represents good opportunity in the crypto space to buy more cryptos down at the 325 billion market cap level. If you are a trader, then you have to break yourself into a different segment or different portion of the group. Are you number one, a counter trend trader? Short-term trend in the crypto space is down. Okay, so this is the only thing you could trade if you're a counter trend trader. Okay. Number two, you could be a breakout trader. If you're a breakout trader, we've seen a lot of breakouts to the downside. I have not yet figured out how to short cryptos yet. Okay, if anybody has an idea of how to short cryptos, I'd really like to know. Number three, you can be an aggressive pullback trader, which in the crypto space is obviously not working. And number four, you can be a moderate pullback trader. Okay, so this is the two segments that I kind of teach here, guys. The one on the left and the one on the right. So what you guys got to understand is what kind of trader are you? I cannot tell you what kind of trader you are. You're either a hodler or you're a trader. If you're a hodler, this is opportunity. If you're a trader, unless you're trading double bottoms. Okay, I saw a lot of people talking on LinkedIn talking about double bottoms. Oh, I got a good signal in double bottoms. DBs, we'll look at these charts here. Double bottoms here are an opportunity to get into the crypto space if you think the low is in for cryptocurrencies. Okay, so this is what you got to go through in your thought process, which one you guys are. So let's just go through my personal portfolio, which is now down on the year. It's actually almost the low of the session. So let me go in here and we'll update it for you guys. Okay, Vertcoin. 211. So let's see, my P&L was at negative 38,000. I have not added to anything actually. So Vertcoin 38,000, IOTA or MIOTA. MIOTA ripping 140. Golem 23. ZRX 48. Neo 69.78, and then we'll go through some charts. NIMEC exchange token 195. Hush. Actually, I initially said I wanted to add Hush at 150. I did not add any. 146. Nano. So I've not added any lately, guys. I've not added any lately. 811. Oops. Blockcat 76. Blockcat down again. It doesn't trade much. That's a problem with Blockcat. Agoras is the same. AGI is the same. 8 share. 5.99. So 8 share. I should have maybe added some at 5, but I didn't. That's up a little bit. BNB, Binance, 880. So my P&L really hasn't moved much. And then the last one is Pivx. AGI is the same at 18 cents. 374. Okay, so I'm up $300. $300 overnight here in my crypto portfolio. So still down. I have $80,000 of risk. I could lose more. Okay, so let's remove this. And let's get out of here. Okay. So now let's go into some charts here. And I like going through these, you know, I don't know if I call them, you know, I like to look at multiple time frame analysis. So combining multiple time frames, so you're looking at charts. So when I go in here, let's start by looking at the one I always look at the most, which is Bitcoin versus US dollar. And we'll hit interactive chart. So I'll start with the longest time frame, and then I'll keep moving it down. So in TradingView, there's really not that much going on. So you'd have to go to TradingView. There's a daily, and then there's a weekly. And on the daily chart, okay, here we see Bitcoin. So daily chart, and there aren't 2 days, 3 days, there's only weeklies. So we'll look at the weekly here, and the weekly actually says it's bullish. So let's look at the weekly here. So weekly chart. I mean, this weekly chart in Bitcoin, so if you're a long-term holder of Bitcoin, you know, the weekly chart supports it, and it still continues to be straight higher, okay? So the weekly chart continues to just move up and up and up. You don't actually get under the cloud on the weekly chart okay, until about 3,000. So 3,000 here, okay? So you don't get under the cloud till about 3,000. So the weekly chart's always going to be bullish. So if you're looking to trade it on the weekly, I mean, you're going to have massive support right here at around 58.73. So, okay, so now that you've determined you're a trader, you got to look at and say, hey, what time frame? Okay, do I want to hold Bitcoin for the next 4 years, 3 years, 5 years? Maybe, okay. Your stop loss would be 58.73. Okay, so that would be your stop loss right here at 58.73. If you wanted to take it. If you don't want to use stop losses, you don't. You can just buy and hold forever. Okay, so you could buy it on the weekly chart at 84.85. That would be your buy level right here. Okay, so if you're risking roughly 2,600, you want to make 2,600 minimum. You want at least a 1-to-1 reward to risk setup. So here you'd be risking 2,600. You'd be targeting 11,000 on the upside. So on a weekly chart, it's okay to be bullish, okay? You're probably looking at, I would say, 3 months out. So if your time frame is 3 months plus, okay, you should be using the weekly chart, okay? So you could buy Bitcoin here on a pullback, risking roughly 2,600 to make 2,600. If you move to the daily, okay, as we see on the daily, if you're counter trend, you can put your stop under recent lows. So if you're counter trend, we do have a stop under recent lows, which is right around 7,400. So if your time frame here is about a month, okay, or less, I would say about 2 weeks to a month. So if your time frame is 2 weeks to a month, okay, you buy at 84. Your stop loss, we'll call it 69,784, just so the math is better. So $1,500. So you're risking $1,500 on this trade. If you're risking $1,500, your target is going to be 10,000. Okay, 1,500 plus the 84.84. 1,500 plus 84.84. And that is your upside target. Okay? So that's if you want a 2 week to 1 month time frame. So now we're kind of expanding our horizons. We're saying, hey, are you a hodler? or are you a trader? Then we're saying, what is your time frame? The longer your time frame, the bigger your stop. Okay, so longer time frame, the bigger the stop. Okay, so we talked about if you're using the weekly chart, having a $2,500 stop. If you're using the daily chart, having a $1,500 stop. Okay, let's then tighten the time frames. Let's go to the 60-minute bar. So hourly, and we're gonna use these and move these here on the bottom to look for that triple confirmation. So the hourly, the 2 hour, the 3 hour, and then the daily. And we see here, even on this break to the upside, it was not a long. So this break to the upside did not trigger a long because we wanted to confirm triple confirmation. You cannot get a triple confirmation set up on the daily because TradingView does not have a 2-day, 3-day, and you cannot get a triple confirmation set up on the weekly. So it's a little bit harder. So here in Bitcoin, on the bottom we have all these dots. And if you bought the triple confirmation system before from me, you guys get this included. So these dots are the hourly, the 2 hour, the 3 hour, and then the daily. So on the hourly chart, there's no setups, okay? You want to wait till you get that dot on top. So when was the last time we got a signal on the hourly? Right here. We had a setup here as a short on the hourly chart, and you can see that it's profitable. Okay, you would have shorted here, and you look at this multiple time frame analysis, short on the hourly, short on the 2 hour, short on the 3 hour, and short on the daily. One of the problems with this, guys, is that Bitcoin trades 24 hours. So unless you have something that's gonna like send you a reminder or tell you what's going on, it's really, really hard to sometimes get these, right? So that's an idea of something you can use. And if you're trading the hourly chart, I would say you're looking at a time frame of somewhere between 12 hours to 3 days. Okay, and you basically set up a one-to-one reward or a setup, and just watch it trade. Okay, all these set up best on every one-to-one. Then we move to the 15, and if we're moving to the 15, we also have to change our triple confirmation setup here on the bottom. So we go to the bottom here, and then we hit this little thing. We move it to a 30, a 60, and then an 2 hour. Okay. So we did get a triple confirmation here buy on the 15 at 25.37. Okay. So we see here we're looking for dots on top. Okay, we got a buy here, right there. And you probably would have got stopped on that. You probably would have had an 8,400 stop. You would not have got to 8,600. So we got a stop on that. You would have taken this long at around 85.50. Probably would have a stop at 84. You'd probably be still in that trade. But the 15-minute bar works pretty well as well. Okay, that's what I traded for if I'm at my computer at the time. Okay, 15-minute bar. You're looking for a triple confirmation setup. So you're looking for the, ooh, let me get my pen out. 15-minute bar on the 30, 60, and 120. Okay. So the breakout on the 15, 30, 60, and 120. As we see here, when all time frames line up, okay, you're looking for the breakout on the smallest time frame. When you get a breakout on the smallest time frame, that means it's a signal. Okay, so you got a breakout here on the smallest time frame, so that means I would want to take a signal. Okay, so what would I want to take? I would want to take a buy, put my stop loss in place. So let's say I bought 85.50 here. My stop loss would be 8,400. and my target to the upside would be 8,700. Okay? So this is kind of how I look at things, guys. Okay? When you're not trading Bitcoin, it makes no sense to do smaller time frames, because I have yet to find a program where you can short these names. I was talking to some guys in Orlando. They claim they have a brokerage house where you can short it, but I have not been able to find anything where you can short it. And we kind of talked about these yesterday. So let's go through a couple more charts here. Let's go through Ethereum. And what we're going to do is we're going to want to change it. So we got, like, if you could trade Ethereum on the 15, okay, you would have got a short in Ethereum on the 15 right here. So you would have got short Ethereum, short at 535. Your stop loss is going to be 550. And then if you're risking 15, so this is how you figure out your targets, guys. You look at your stop losses. If you're risking 15, your target's down to 520. So you'd technically still be in this trade. You'd be up like $1.50 on a one lot. Okay? But when I talked about Ethereum, I want to look at the daily chart. So I move it to the daily. And then I set it up here. Daily. This is going to have to be daily, and this is going to be the weekly. Okay, so here in Ethereum, guys, you know, simple and easy. Okay? Your stop loss is very, very easily calculated. It's this candle here. Let me go to a relative strength index and see if it's oversold. So I insert indicator, and I'm going to go to relative strength index. Okay. So as a generalization, and cryptos can get way more than this, 30 is considered oversold, 70 is considered overbought. So as a generalization, 30 is oversold, 70 is overbought. In the crypto space, I would say 80 and 20. So I think Ethereum could get down to the 20 level of an RSI. But if you guys are a longer term holder, or you want to counter trend. So when we go back to the theory that I've been talking about for a while, okay? Individually, you guys got to decide what you are. Which one of these are you? Okay? Are you a hodler or are you a trader? If you are a hodler, I think it makes sense to add some positions down here or buy some things. If you're not, then it is okay to be a trader. But if you're a trader, you have to define stop losses. Okay, if you don't define stop losses, probably getting crushed. Okay, so if you're taking a trade in Ethereum, okay, you could buy it here. We talked about buying it yesterday at 550. 530 and 550 represent basically the same thing. Okay, so 550 and 530 represent the same thing, and your stop is going to be under that low. Okay, so let's see what that low is. And in Ethereum, the low is 450. And you know what's interesting here is I can't hold this here while I look at the number, but it's exactly 450. Literally exactly 450. Is it interesting and weird that it's exactly 450? No, probably not. You know, someone probably had to buy at 450 to buy a ton. So, in Ethereum, let's say you bought it here at 535. Okay, we're going to put a stop loss under that big tail. This is if you're long-term bullish. I would still be using stop losses. Okay, so your stop loss is going to be 435. You as a trader need to figure out if you want to have one or two targets. Okay, if you want to have one target, your target's going to be $100. Okay, which is your stop loss. So always base targets on stop losses. This is how you know you're setting up decent or good reward to risk setups. So number one, you're going to have a stop loss at 435. If you want to use one target, you're going to use 635. Okay. And this is all my opinion. This is how I trade. If you want to have two targets, okay, you can put a target $50 higher, which is 50% of this level at 585. If you hit that target, what you could do is you could move your stop to break even. So 585, you're gonna move your stop to break even. Okay, once your stop is at break even, you're guaranteed to win. If you don't wanna use your stop to break even, that is fine. Your target 2 would be 635, which is $100 higher. So here, you know, the advantages and disadvantages. You're taking profit targets quicker, but you're only averaging out plus $75. So in this trade, you're actually risking 100 to only make 75. Okay? But it's an idea that you can do. Depends all what you want. Okay, let's go to the next one. Let's go to Ripple. So XRP. Okay, same thing, guys. Okay, so this is the daily chart. As you see here, Ripple straight down. I got out of Ripple like 340. Maybe sometimes it's better to be lucky than good, but I did get out of Ripple at 340. Okay, Ripple is currently around 67 cents. So when we look at where we want to get out of trades, okay, there's always going to be levels of resistance. That's where sellers came into the market. Okay, so there's levels of resistance is where sellers came into the market. Then we have support. Support is where the buyers came into the market. Okay, so buyers came into the market at the bottom of this tail. Okay, someone said, hey, I want Ripple, I'm gonna buy it there, and it pushed the price point higher. So if you bought Ripple today at 67.44, okay, stop loss is gonna be under that candle. Let's look at that candle. That candle is 53.64. So another easy, simple setup, guys. So you buy it at, let's call it 0.68. Your stop loss is at 0.48. Okay? That's a 20-cent stop loss. Does everybody see this? And you think, oh my God, 20 cents, I'm gonna get stopped right away. It's actually down about 35%. So if you put $1,000 in and you get stopped out, it's 35% loser. Okay? Then, when you have this, you can figure out your targets. You can use one, or you can use two targets. If you want to use one target, you're going to do 20 cents higher. So 0.68 plus 0.20. That is 88. So now you have defined yourself a one-to-one reward to risk setup here in Ripple. Buy Ripple at 68, stop loss at 48, and then your profit target is 88. If you want to use two stop losses, half of the stop loss, or 50% of the stop loss, is going to be 78. So 78 and 88. If you're a little bit more conservative, when you hit target 1, you can then move your stop to break even. Okay? So that's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. This is if you're a trader and you're counter trend. If you're a hodler, don't look at your P&L. If you're a hodler, just don't ever look at your P&L, because it shouldn't matter. Because you can hold these positions for 10 years, right? Figure out levels you want to add, but don't look at your P&L, okay? On the upside and the downside. Let's look at one more chart here. We're gonna look at Litecoin. And I hope this is kind of helping, guys. This is my mentality, okay? Where is support and where is resistance? All these charts look the same. You know, the crypto market, as a generalization, kind of moves together, right? As Bitcoin goes, I look at Bitcoin, I say Bitcoin's S&P. As Bitcoin goes lower, all cryptos go lower. As Bitcoin goes higher, all cryptos go higher, as a generalization. So where is our support to the downside? That's it, guys, right there. Not a car concept, it's right there, right? That is our support. So support to the downside is this candle, which is 137.01. So 137.01. So if I wanted to buy Litecoin, let's say I bought it at 159.64. Let's call it $25 stop loss just for argument's sake. This would be 132.64. Actually, it'd be 134.64. Okay, $25 stop loss. If we looked at this as a percentage, this actually one has rebounded a little bit more. So $25 stop loss here. And then we're going to have targets, 1 or 2 targets. If you want to use one target, you can move your stop loss to break even when you hit it. That'd be $12.50 higher, which would be 50% of that 25, which would be about 172.5. And then target 2 would be 185. Okay. So just remember, guys, your stop losses are based on the candle that was formed on the daily chart about 3 days ago. So that is it for me today. Mark's going to take you through the next portion of the day. Hopefully this helps figuring out targets using stop losses. Everybody have a great day trading. Thanks, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.